Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about the Grainfather Counterflow wort chiller and how it's easy to use, quick and efficient, and helps you to make better beer. And I just want to go over the points of the advantages of using a Counterflow wort chiller. So firstly, I'll talk to you about how we've designed the Counterflow wort chiller and the build of it. So you might recognize here, this is your blue cold water in hose. And this water goes in through the blue hose, travels through that black hose and comes back out as hot water out of this red hose. And on the other side you've got, this is your connected to the Grainfather, this hose, and that's your hot wort in hose, right? And this hose is your cold wort out hose, and that goes into your fermenter. So now just to show you the inside of this, if I do that, you can see that there's copper inside of that black PVC hose. So what happens is the hot wort from the Grainfather goes through this hose, goes inside of that copper and goes round, and then from the top to the bottom and out of that wort out hose and into your fermenter. Now the water from your tap, the cool water, goes in to the blue hose in through the bottom there and travels through the black hose, so outside of the copper, that black hose there, and goes in the other direction, so it goes up and comes out of the red hose to drain. And so that's why it's a counterflow wort chiller. You have hot liquid travelling one way and cold liquid travelling the other way. So now that we've talked about the design of the chiller, I want to talk about the science behind the chiller and how it helps you to make a better beer. So the basic scientific principle that we're using in the chiller is conduction. So conduction is the transfer of thermal energy from one source to another, so heat or electricity. And so what we're doing is we have the copper pipe, imagine there, and then we have the outer PVC pipe. So what you have is you have the cold water flowing this way and the hot beer flowing that way. So you have at this point there where they mix, you have this cold water hitting the copper pipe, and the heat is transferred from that copper pipe into the water, and that's your basic principle, and that's how it cools down your wort and transfers that energy. Now conduction is always best from a region of high temperature to a region of low temperature. So for instance, we'll go back to our piping here for the chiller. So you have the copper pipe and the outer black PVC pipe. So we have the wort flowing at say 90 degrees Celsius, which will be good, and flowing that way. And then we have the water flowing through the black PVC hose, flowing this way at say 20 degrees Celsius. So these are quite far apart, and that'll be very efficient for conduction to take place. Now the closer these two get to each other, the less effective your heat transfer is going to be, and the longer it will take to cool. So to put all that into a larger perspective of things for when you're actually brewing, I've drawn this little image of a Grainfather and a fermenter. So you have your boiler there, Grainfather, you have your chiller and the fermenter. So it's all connected now. You've just finished your boil, the wort's hot, so you're cooling from a high temperature area, the Grainfather, and it's meeting the cold water and coming out at about 22 degrees Celsius and going straight into your fermenter. It's very efficient, it's easy, and this will take around 20 minutes to cool all your wort. Now if you didn't do this, and if the other way, if you cooled straight back into the Grainfather and wanted it to cool all in there, what's happening is the hot wort's coming up, meeting the cold water, conduction's taking place, so it's cooling down and then going back into the Grainfather and reheating, and it's just continuously doing that process. It's just going up, cooling down, getting back and reheating. So that gap is closing. You remember how I said going from a high temperature to a low temperature, that gap's now closing and closing, and that will just mean that it's going to take a really long time to cool. So you're going to have to wait a long time. The wort will thicken, giving you problems in the pump. So yeah, it's definitely much easier to go straight into the fermenter. And now I want to talk about how using your Counterflow wort chiller will affect your beer, so the final product. So rapidly cooling your wort will help you to form a good cold break. What that is, it's a bunch of proteins that you want to precipitate out of the wort. So rapidly cooling, you're allowing those proteins to precipitate out of the wort and giving you a nice clear beer, really. So if you don't do that, if you don't cool rapidly, you'll get a chill haze. So like a hazy beer, I guess, and that has been linked to some off flavours and things where, again, rapidly cooling will improve the stability of your beer, the shelf life, and yeah. So as you can see, we've designed the chiller to be quick, easy and efficient by using the laws of conduction, which we all know works really well. So thanks for watching and happy brewing.